Hello. Today we are going to be working with the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. And with the Pythagorean theorem, we know that it only works with right triangles. And so the converse of the Pythagorean theorem is proving whether or not the triangle you're working with is a right triangle or not. So if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then yes, it's a right triangle. And sometimes the triangles will look like, yes, it could be, but we find that actually it might be like an 89-degree angle or a 91-degree angle. So it's really hard just by eyeballing the triangle to determine if it's a right triangle or not. And that's where the Pythagorean theorem can help us. So we're going to verify that the following sets of lengths make the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared true. And we're going to record the results in the table. And so we have a is 3, b is 4, and 5 is c. And so a, b, c. So they're saying this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. And they want to know it doesn't make it a right triangle. And so we have 3 squared plus b squared. And they want to know, does it equal c squared? Well, this is 9. And that's 16. And 5 squared is 25. If I take 9 plus 16, I get 25. And yes, 25 does equal 25, so yes, this is a true statement, so yes. My next triangle is 5, 12, and 13. So we have 5 squared plus 12 squared. And they want to know, does it equal 13 squared? So we know 5 squared is 25, and 12 squared is 144. So 144 plus 25, oops. And that gives me 169. And 13 squared is 169. So yes, this is a right triangle. This one is 7 squared plus 24 squared. Does it equal 25 squared? So 7 squared is 49. 24 squared is 576. And 25 squared is 625. If I take 49 plus 576, I get 625. Are they the same? Yes, they are. So yes, this is a right triangle. My next one is 8. Plus 15 squared, does it equal 17 squared? Well, 8 squared is 64. 15 squared is 225. And the sum of those is 289. 17 squared is 289. Are they the same? Yes. All right. The last one. We have a square, or we have a right triangle, or we have a triangle with sides of 20, 21, and 29. So we have 20 squared, 21 squared, and we want to know, will it equal 29 squared? So 20 squared is 400. 21 squared is 441. And 29 squared is 841. And if I add those two together, I get 841 is equal to 841. So yes, this proves that these are all right triangles. Every triangle you come across will not be a right triangle, so be aware that it's not always going to be yes. These just so happen to be. It says for each set of the lengths of the table, cut strips of grid paper with a width of 1 square and lengths that are correspond with A, B, and C. And what they've shown us here is our first one, which was a triangle with 3, 4, and 5. So here's my 3, there's my 4, and then there's my 5. And when you do that, they actually do form a right triangle. And you could do that for each of them, but we're not going to do that today. We can identify a right triangle just by doing the same thing we did before, testing it. If we have 3 measurements of a triangle. And remember, the hypotenuse is always going to be longer than the longest side, right? So that means that this is automatically going to be C. And just so keep it in chronological order, we'll make 9A, B is going to be 40, and C is going to be 41. Okay? So we do square 9, that's 81, square 40, that's 1,600, and square 41, and that is 1,681. If I add 81 to 1,600, I get 1,681. It is equal, so yes, this is a right triangle, okay? If I look at my next one, I have 8, 10, and 12. 12 is my biggest number, so it's going to be my C. So I'm going to have 8 squared is 64, 10 squared is 100, and 12 squared is 144. If I add 64 to 100, I get 164. It is not equal to 144. So this is saying that this is not a right triangle. Let's practice some of that. So I have 14 centimeters, 23 centimeters, and 25 centimeters. My longest side is going to be my hypotenuse. So 14 squared plus 23 squared, does it equal 25 squared? And so 14 squared is 196. 23 squared is 529. And 25 squared is 625. If I take 196 and I add 529 to it, I get 725. Does it equal 625? No, it does not. So we're just going to say no. I want you to do number 3 and determine, is this creating a right triangle? If you found that 1,156 is equal to 1,156, then yes, this is a right triangle. Okay, now try number 4. We have a triangle with the length of 27, 36, and 45 feet. Determine if it is a right triangle. You should have determined that both sides are equal to 2,025, so yes, this is an example of a right triangle. Go ahead and move on to number 5. You should have determined that 445 is not equal to 441, so no, this is not a right triangle. If you have any questions, please make sure you talk to your teacher.